Shalom, giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakodash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations, as always, to the elect, news and prophecy, linking things that we see happening worldwide, as well as here in Babylon the Great. We link these things to biblical prophecy, giving assurance and stability to the elect that these things are a part of the will of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. All right. These things are written in the volume of the book. These things were prophesied by the holy prophets, okay, and ultimately being fulfilled in our times. All right. The Lord himself told us there will be wars, rumors of wars, famines, pestilences. All right. These are all of the things that we are witnessing. And he told you, fear not, these things must be. All right. So we do these videos not only to warn, all right, condemnation to the heathen and the 2/3. All right. And basically, we know that, a great judgment is coming unto those who are not in good graces with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay. But also, we're letting you brothers and sisters know what we are going to be delivered from. Okay. As the Holy Scriptures, all right, foretells. Let's get the book of Isaiah, the 19th chapter, right? The Holy Scriptures, okay, tie our salvation to a point where we will be crying, okay, to the Heavenly Father for salvation. Isaiah 19 and 20, okay, start at 19. And that day there shall be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt. Okay, an altar set up with rough stones. All right. We're no longer, bound to the traditions of the first covenant. So under grace, we act as the altar. We act as the temple. We act as the priesthood. Okay. These things are still required. All right. But the requirement has been upgraded. All right. To ultimately these places of sacrifice where the elect are preaching and teaching his word, praying unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai for, deliverance. That's why we have to constantly pray. Pray for the the household of faith, the men of the Lord who are out teaching, all right, their families, all right, the sisters who believe wholeheartedly, all right, we're praying for you every day. And that is a part of our defense. And see, we have to understand that now that Yahweh Shai is on the right-hand side, okay, in Revelation 5th chapter, we went into this last night at the live show, okay? Once Yahweh Shai, sacrifice was fulfilled and he went back unto the right hand of the Father, okay? It describes in Revelation 5 and 8, and when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and the 4 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them having the harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of the saints. And they sung a new song. See, now we're singing the new song, and our prayers are being offered up through Yahweh Shai, being heard of the Most High God Yahweh. And see, this is why he's reacting. Remember in ancient Egypt, as a matter of fact, let's go to Exodus, the 2nd chapter. All right. Exodus chapter 2 and 23. And it came to pass in the process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage, and they cried, and their cry came up to the Most High by reason of the bondage. Okay. And this is before the priesthood was set up, but the Lord was sending Moses, Aaron as leaders that will be at the forefront of bringing our people back, all right, to the understanding of the Father, all right, and also, all right, establishing the priesthood and us being exodused out of that first Egypt. Now we're in a spiritual Egypt. See, and the Most High heard their groaning, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham and with Isaac and with Jacob. And God looked upon the children of Israel and had respect unto them. Let's look at this word respect. All right. Yah, die, to know, to perceive, to find out and discern. All right. To know by experience, to acknowledge. So he's now acknowledging us in this time. All right. Through Yahweh sacrifice now. All right. Since we broke that first covenant, now he is hearing us. Okay. He's hearing our complaints. He's hearing our groaning, and he's setting up a scenario just like he did in ancient Egypt via plagues. All right. See, in ancient Egypt, you know, we had to see those straight things happen. All right. To that captivity that we were used to. We saw it broken down from the inside out. We saw the hearts of the rulers hardened against the Lord. We saw them say one thing and do another. Unstable leadership. Okay. We saw all manner of plagues. Okay. And through that, the Lord was with us. All right. So when we're doing these news and prophecies, okay, yeah, it's condemnation to the heathen, but we're showing you what we need to be delivered from and what we will be delivered from. So in that day, Isaiah 19:19, there shall be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt. An altar is where sacrifice is offered. And we, under grace, offer our bodies as the sacrifice under Yahweh Shai's sacrifice. And a pillar at the border thereof to the Lord. And it shall be for a sign and for a witness unto Yahweh. I mean, he's perceiving it. Okay. He's having respect unto, all right, his people. He's discerning. He's looking, all right, just like he did with Noah and seeing all the rebellion amongst our people. But he's also noticing the righteousness of the remnant. That's the sign and witness unto Yahweh. All right. In the land of Egypt. For they shall cry unto Yahweh because of their oppressors, and he shall send them a savior and a great one, and he shall deliver them. You see that? So the end time prophecy is directly tied to a scenario where we would cry unto the Heavenly Father because of our oppressors. And as we look into the planet Earth, they are not going to stop. Okay, they're on their way to establishing another pandemic, all right, which is a plague, which is a pestilence, right? We're getting ready to see all manner of confusion. They're getting ready to institute the mask. They're getting ready to do shutdowns again. They're getting ready to tell you can't travel this far. They're getting ready to basically, all right, implement laws that are going to aid them in establishing their new world order. We're going to need to track people. We're going to need to be stricter. All right. And the foods that they are putting in these neighborhoods, especially where you Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans reside heavily, are going to be plagued. They're going to be filled with disease. See, and this is all an aspect of the man of sin coming down with great wrath. Okay, the wicked of the planet Earth. As you see, the headlines are, they took you from, one extreme to the next, to the next, to the next. They have not stopped. All right. Again, from 2020 going forward, even before then, every week, all right, there has been something new that has flooded the headlines. All right. And when the next thing comes, all right, as the scriptures say, there will be international intrigues. All right. And when the next thing comes, people forget about the other. Let's get, all right, Second Esdras, the 9th chapter in the GNT, right? We've been hitting this scripture heavily. Okay, but hey, these are the times we're in. Second Esdras 9 and 1. Consider all the things very carefully. All these things very carefully. When you shall see some of the signs I have told you about having appeared, you will know that the time has come when the Most High God will bring judgment on the world he created. There will be earthquakes, national rebellions, international intrigues, unstable leaders, and confused rulers. These are all signs of the end time. Okay? Yahweh Shai himself, told us what? Okay, there's going to be many false prophets. Okay, they're trying to deceive many, saying that they're the ones that are anointed. Right, that these are all signs of the end times, because now people see that going into end time prophecy, all right, brings them money in their pocket. People see now that talking about, things that are tied to the Bible are now lucrative. So you have a lot of people, jumping ship, Jake, people who was into the red pill movement. Now you see their videos are geared more towards, world events, right? Wars, famines. You got certain, men in Israel who mocked conspiracy theories. Now all they're talking about is conspiracy theories. And one thing I'm starting to notice is a lot of, the very things that individuals mocked, all right, us, especially here at Great Millstone for teaching, they end up teaching it themselves. I was just looking at a video where Tazariak is acknowledging that, when a woman is 12 and 13, that is the beginning of her becoming a woman. In that, when a woman, reaches puberty at around, 13, 14, 15, she gets hot, and men, and when the seniors in high school was always looking for the fresh meat. These are things that they told us we were pedos for, which pedo means that you're dealing with a woman pre-puberty, right? Which, showing you Jake don't know the meaning of words. But at the same time, you always start to see men mock Great Millstone for being in a particular spirit of teaching something. Then years on down the line, they start teaching. I remember this guy, Baloo or Bakwash. He mocked us for having brothers in the camp that looked like heathen. All right, but then we saw him on the highways years later telling someone that you're going to have Israelites looking like the other nations, man. So you got a lot of false prophets out there that you're going to start to see jumping ship, like they're deeply into, prophecy, when they've been playing all this time, and a lot of their congregation are going to demand them to give them answers. See, this is why the Christian church, even outside of Israel, the Christian church is done, because they don't have the answers. They ain't tapping into prophecy. Who wants to, in the middle of World War III, famine, pestilence, death, confusion, you got people losing their minds, taking up the sword against one another. You got all kind of jakes that are being so-called released from mental institutions, getting out and just killing their mothers, shooting, police, all kind of madness is happening. These are going to call for drastic measures. These are going to call for, we need to lock crazies up. We need to keep them locked up. See, they're setting the stage for, all right, coming down with great raft on a level that Americans ain't used to. See that? This is why membership in the churches are dropping, right? Southern Baptist membership drops to lowest level in 53 years. And I was in the Baptist church. I know what goes on in the Baptist church. But this is what vocab and these weirdo Christians who come to our pages and mock and scoff or do all of these videos against the Israelites, this is the spirit they want you to be. And they want you to go to the Baptist church, all right, with the usher full of abominations, okay, sick through, right? The usher telling you to sit here, right? Standing at the door with a napkin in her hand, telling you to put your gum. Remember that? Place your gum in here, young man. They want you to go in there and watch niggas just sing and dance and clap, a preacher mumbling, all right, bringing out, particular scriptures, and you dozing off. They want you to go back into that spirit. No, we ain't returning to that vomit. But in a time of prophecy, people want to know what the hell is going on. All right. And though a lot of people are still in a deep sleep, people have, all right, come to the conclusion the church ain't it. With all of this hell going on in the world, I'd rather have my Sunday to myself. So the church is through. See, the elect are on the rise. Okay, the true church of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua is on the rise. See, and the only ones that are, and now you got particular Christians tapping into prophecy, which ultimately at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, you can only do you can do nothing against the truth before the truth, but a lot of you are full of it. A lot of you mocked us, scoffed us, and now you're using the talking points of the Israelites, all right, for a means of income, because this is what people want to hear about. People don't want to hear a song and praise and all that. Everything's gonna be all right. No, it ain't gonna be all right. We're gonna have to stand on our faith. Because the man of sin is moving in with great wrath, and he has many methods. As we went into in one of our last news and prophecies, we went into polycrisis. He's coming at you in many ways. He got all kind of things lined up. So it ain't gonna be one thing that's gonna lead to the end. It's gonna be a culmination of many things. You look at the headlines, quarantine. All right. All of a sudden, the new thing is the cruise ships. Okay. Just complete confusion. And see, see those who are not tapped into the faith when these things really hit, because though a lot of this is planned, right? A lot of this is planned. We'll show you that it was planned. All right, the Epstein files planned this, but prophecy planned it more than anything. There are going to be, all right, things put into the atmosphere that are going to make people sick. Okay, remember, a lot of people are still walking around full of that juice and those boosters. All right, basically ticking time bombs, walking around spreading all manner of confusion. The food is plagued. The meat is plagued. So they're spreading sickness and all manner of confusion in more than one way. And when you start to see the culmination of death, all right, then they're going to be able to, get on the news and bring about, guys like this. Let's see if I can find that guy. Where are you at? It was the article I had. Because he's back, your boy, Falsey. He's back. All right, he returned to the spotlight. All right, after the all of the lies he was found out to have been told the first time, now he's gonna pop back up into the spotlight, telling you what to do. It may be time to start wearing masks again and maintaining social distance. We're back to that same old, man. They're getting ready to run the same play, but this time it's gonna be deadlier. So you're gonna have to tap into faith. Now, let's finish this here. All right. Mark 13:7. And when ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, be ye not troubled, for such thing must needs be, but the end shall not be yet. So these things that we're hearing and witnessing, all right, they gotta be there. They gotta happen. Don't panic. Yes, these things must take place, but the end won't follow immediately. So we've been hearing about the wars and the rumors of wars. Brothers do the videos. See, the end ain't gonna happen immediately. These are the building blocks of what the Lord is getting ready to do. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows. See, there shall be famines and troubles. Let's look at the word troubles. All right. There shall be famines and troubles. Okay. Commotion, sedition, tarake, all right, tumult, sedition. We got all kind of uprisings. But in other versions, right, he says what? There's going to be famines, pestilence. Okay. Let's get it. because it's out of his own mouth. Let's see, wars. Let's see here. Yep, Matthew 24, boom. And 7, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Okay, go into the book of Buddha, go into the book of Kemet, and show me the prophecies of everything that we're going through. As a matter of fact, there's a scripture going into that. All of you idols, tell us what's going to happen in the future so we can prepare. Lemos, scarcity of harvest, famine. We're witnessing that. And it's happening quickly. You know, it ain't coming suddenly, but is everything that we see happening or leading to that. Loimos, for pestilent. Pestilent fellow, plague. Pestilence, the disease, all right, a pest. Okay, they talk about these ticks. All right, there you go. A fatal epidemic disease, especially plague, bubonic plague, death, disease, contagion, infection. See? Let's start here. Because this is a part of their agenda, man. These people are crazy. Okay? First, we'll go here. Let's go to this one.
We begin the day with countries around the world monitoring and quarantining passengers evacuated from a cruise ship hit by a deadly hantavirus outbreak.
Number of hantavirus cases has increased to as many as 9, but
because you got a lot of people like, oh man, this ain't nothing. This is the same thing. Fool me once, shame on you for another pet. But wait till you start to see the massive number of people that are gonna, be put down, and even yourself, certain sicknesses we may have to endure, and see family members, and then people will start to change their tune. Wait a minute, it is something. Now 18 Americans are exposed to it.
Because the incubation period can be up to 8 weeks, according to doctors, the Director General of the World Health Organization says they fully expect to see that number increase even more, although he did reassure that there are steps being taken to try to contain this virus.
We're seeing people in hazmat suits. Some of the patients who were infected on the ship, they are being treated in biocontainment units that are designed for Ebola. There's 42 recommended days of quarantine. You say we're being very cautious here. All of what we're seeing, is that because the virus is especially dangerous, or because doctors still don't fully understand this outbreak?
What more do we know about the Andes strain? How it might differ from the other strains?
So the Andes strain is...
It's the same thing all over again, man. Okay, but don't get it twisted. They are putting, sicknesses, all right, in all matter of confusion, because this man accomplishes a diligent search. He studies the people. He sees how they react to particular things. He makes sure the foods have, Remember, this devil Trump allowed meat from Argentina, all right, which is known to be plague, to be sold over here in the Americas. All right, remember what happened in Exodus, the 9th chapter. One of the plagues upon Egypt was what? Exodus 9:3. Behold, the hand of Yahweh is upon thy cattle, which is in the field, upon the horses, and upon the asses, and upon the camels, and upon the oxen, and upon the sheep. There shall be a very grievous murrain. Okay? And let's look up the word murrain. So the very food you eat is plagued, set up to destroy. Debar, pestilence, plague, murrain, cattle disease, cattle plague. Let's just type in here. Okay, let's just tap into the news. All right. There you go. It's already happening. It's been happening. Okay, you can just read the 60 Missouri counties. So all of these things simultaneously happen surrounding your food supply. Meat factories burning down. Right? I mean, it's so many things that you can't even keep up. But these are all plagues. See? That ain't going nowhere. All right?
It's the only strain where we have mapped human to human transmission. And I caution people because.
And these are things that only supposed to be, develop in animals, but then it becomes a human to human spread. Could it have something to do with him manipulating the genes of people, putting, animal genes in people via these juices? Don't forget, the godfather of the VAXs, Stanley Plotkin, told you openly what they put in those juices. And when I say juice, I'm talking about the V to the A to the X. He told you what the animal proteins and kidneys and hormones and all kind of madness that they put in those shots. So how the hell are these things now going from human to human that was supposed to only be in rats and animals and bats, all this crap that they're putting out there, man?
When we say human to human transmission, we're talking about people who develop symptoms. But because we're not testing populations with RNAs, we don't really know whether there are subclinical cases. So there could be more human to human transmission than we actually see. It's never good to track viruses through symptoms. We should be tracking viruses through blood tests like PCR. We've learned that with.
And see, now they're talking about, let's go here. All right, now we're going to need to do testing. So very soon, all right, in the near future, you could be demanded to be tested to work in a particular place. Okay? Demands population-wide PCR testing for this Hanta, which there's theories going around that the word Hanta means, to deceive or to lie. I don't know the truth of that. But there's already, as you can see here, conspiracies, online, spreading online. And that's going to be, all right, in the next demic, they're going to, have what is called an infodemic. So certain information, all right, and posts online are going to be blocked, all right, because they're going to be detrimental to the plan to heal people and treat people. Okay, remember what they did in 2020, 2019, that was all a test of what's coming, all right, in this time. All right, and we're listening to her say what? They're going to be what? Test.
COVID, extraordinarily helpful. Many universities were able to open and schools were able to open because they provided weekly testing and it really prevented spread. So we know how to deal with these viruses. We just need to move into the 21st century and make testing more widely available to those who need it.
On more cases, as I said it in my speech, we would expect more cases because, as you may remember, the index case, the first case in the ship was on April 6th. And until the report was confirmed as infectious, that's around April 24 or 25, there was a lot of interaction actually with the passengers. And as you know, the incubation period is also 6 to 8 weeks. So because of the interaction, while they were still in the ship, especially before they started taking some infectious prevention measures, because of the interaction, we would expect more cases because of some of what happened during the travel, actually, until hopefully the interaction until April 30th. After that, of course, they have improved the measures.
There are a further 2 suspected cases, while 3 people have died from the illness. The outbreak is believed to be the first linked to a cruise ship and has prompted an international response, with passengers now returning to more than 20 countries. Health officials say the strain can, in rare cases, spread through very close human contact, unlike most forms of hantavirus, which are usually linked to exposure to infected rodent droppings. Here in Germany, 4 passengers have been moved into quarantine in their home states after a medical assessment in a clinic.
WHO Med, he accepted. And the request I made was based on international health regulation. And countries are expected to cooperate based on that international health regulation. But not only the IHR, I think we should also be strong believers of solidarity. Solidarity, because that's our best immunity. It's only when we support each other that we can respond more effectively to virus or to outbreaks like this. And it's also a moral.
I mean, you could see the play, right? You could, again, let's get Psalm 64. Okay. Hear my voice. All right. Oh, my power in my prayer. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy. See, these Psalms were written for us, the house of David in these times. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked and from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Let's look up the word insurrection. Okay. Ragash. All right. Basically a conspiracy. Throng. In company. Scheming. Ain't that what the word to conspire mean? All right. A plot to conspire. What does the word conspire mean? Make secret plans jointly to commit an unlawful or harmful act. Okay, let's get the book of Revelation, the 6th chapter, right? Well, let's go back here real quick, right? So things are getting ready to change. Things are getting ready to get shut down. All right, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. That's letting you know that there's a conspiracy right here. From the workers of iniquity who whet their tongues like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. These laws and legislations that they're going to pass, man. These are arrows being shot to take away your rights, break down your constitution, implement an environment where everyone has to be surveilled and tracked. Okay, that's the plan. Okay? It's going to go from everybody needs to be tested, right? To everybody needs to be tracked. Okay? To now, all right? Everybody's going to need, all right? Right, as you can see here, Gil Bates unveils global digital enslavement blueprint. Your identity, bank account, and body must become one. Okay?
Another place that India leads, but there's a lot more that all of you can be involved in driving forward, is this digital public infrastructure. No country is more able to take government benefits and get them out efficiently and effectively to their citizens than India. You would have expected rich countries or others to do that, but in fact, they did not. And so that basic structure that starts with identity and bank accounts and payments is just foundational. And as part of this visit, I'm now seeing how that foundation is being built out in agriculture with profiles of farmers to understand what they need and give them advice, built out with health records so that we can help people not only with infectious diseases, but the challenge that's coming in the future with the growth of the non-communicable diseases being a huge thing. And that digital public infrastructure will help us with these climate problems.
The digital infrastructure will help us with these problems, climate problems. Because remember, again, this is This may be Thomas Malthus all over again. All right? The Malthusian theory. Okay? This may be him all over again. Okay? This may be him. They kind of look alike. Right? Okay? The where you get the Malthusian theory. Okay? That population, I mean, you've been listening to his TED Talks, how the earth is overpopulated. This is basically where all of this madness goes back to. His theory argued that population grows geometrically while food supplies grows arithmetically, leading to a cycle of poverty, famine, and disease unless checked by moral restraint. See? So by war, famine, and disease, all right, a lot of people are taken back to the spirit world, and this fixes the problem. This balances things out because there's not enough food supply, all right, to basically maintain the growing population. Too many people on the earth. Okay? Then all of these other theories, but this may be this nigga back, right, in the, reincarnation.
Odisha yesterday, and what they showed is that they've registered the farmers and registered what type of crops they grow and what land they own. They literally have a control center. When you walk in, you think, wow, this is agriculture, but you've got a command center and maps and people doing queries and sending out messages. And so that all starts, with an Aadhaar identity, listing those farmers, getting the information, making sure it's up to date.
All right, so they're gonna basically set up a system where everything needs to be tracked, traced, monitored, right? And people are starting to see it. All right. Here's off a news break why the MOTB is a total integration of your biology and the state. All right. You're going to have to merge your body with machine. Okay. To make a safer environment. And we'll go back to that. Okay. But let's go back here to Psalms, the 64th chapter, man. Okay. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, verse 2, and from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at them and fear not, man. And this is what these laws are all passed. This whole NWO is centered around Jacob not receiving the inheritance, all right, that is promised unto him, and setting themselves up in his place. They've done it through pseudoscience, but see, that's starting to fail. So now they're bringing about this new digital age where ultimately this will allow them to manipulate genetics, control the narrative, and X out the Heavenly Father's plan to set Jacob up. So this is why we're praying to the Lord, preserve us from this violent bastard, man. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune in laying snares privily, and they say, who shall see them? But see, now we're living in a time where he's being revealed. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought, every one of them, and the heart is deep. So their minds are deep, okay, rooted in wickedness, okay. The director of the Hudat, which you see, that's the serpent on the pole, setting themselves up as saviors, all right. He's saying basically it is a moral obligation for nations to submit and believe in his global health order. And remember, America withdrew from Hudat. All right. But all right, these are all ploys to make you believe that they're all divided when all of them have the same plot and ploy. All right. And plan to set up this new digital infrastructure. All right. As a means, okay, to basically bring about peace and safety as a snare. They're going to use peace as a snare. Okay? They want to take over the jurisdiction of your life. This is in 2023. This particular doctor exposed this.
we're undergoing a soft coup. And the idea is to create a whole new set of laws and ignore the existing human rights laws and other laws under the pretext of pandemic preparedness and the biosecurity agenda. The WHO is developing through all its nations, but with the WHO Directorate and the United States in charge, a pandemic treaty and amendments to the existing international health regulations that will remove the human rights protections currently embedded in the IHRs, will enforce surveillance, censorship, get rid of freedom of speech, require governments to censor and only push a single narrative. Also, we will be subject, if they can make this work, to vaccines developed in 100 days, which the organization CEPI is planning to do. And one of the people who founded CEPI was Jeremy Farrar, who is now the chief scientist at the WHO, to bring this forward. Other things that the amendments do is to bind the states so they're no longer recommendations, but enforceable edicts, provide a liability shield, get rid of intellectual property rights, move supplies from one country to another, enforce digital passports, and the Director General of WHO can demand that a pandemic or a potential pandemic exists. He can just declare it with no standards, and then countries around the world will have to obey.
And this is a process of how the MOTB will be implemented. Okay, it will, basically you don't have a constitutional right. You don't have jurisdiction over your own body. Conspiracy theories, people speaking against these things, you're going to be cut off, because this is how we're going to heal people. This is why they've been shoving it down your throat that this brain thing is associated with healing you. Right? They've been putting that at the forefront. It's a miracle. He can walk now. He can talk now. He can play ping pong with his mind. And, you got the pig playing ping pong with his mind. You got the monkey play. They're people, again, he deceived many by the miracles, but the whole time he's setting up a digital enslavement for your ass. And he's going to do it by these mini crisis, polycrisis, man.
Also, the WHO will tell you what drugs you can and can't use in your nation once a pandemic is declared. Obviously, the budget will increase. One Health is another part of this. One Health is a concept that was created to enable the WHO, with these documents, to take over jurisdiction of everything in the world by saying that climate change, animals, plants, water systems, ecosystems are all central to health. Also embedded in this concept is a peculiar notion that humans are no longer of greater value than animals.
See that? As a matter of fact, let's play some of this. We'll go back to this.
People are like, wow, this is a bit scary. It's completely new territory.
I mean, will we still need humans?
Not for most things. We'll decide.
And that's something to laugh at. Although a lot of those laughs on these shows be fake. It's a button they press. But people would laugh at that. Listen to them. Remember, I was showing this video a lot, all right, over the last year, of him saying this and how this was just a joke. I was just looking at some of these. I don't know what it was. I guess Kevin Hart had a roast or, some type of award show. And they were just up there, bringing out how, certain people in the crowd were in the Epstein files, roasting them. And it was just a joke to people. This is how dumbed down the world is. They're telling you humans will be obsolete. Right? So this is why they're preparing to cull the whole hell of a lot. As a matter of fact, that's why I wanted to get Revelation, the 6th chapter. Revelation chapter 6 and 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death. And hell followed with him, the grave. He's getting ready to what? Put a lot of people in the grave. Right? And power was given unto him over the fourth part of the earth. Right? Mainly, then that's speaking of here in Babylon the Great. That was known as the fourth part of the world, right? To kill with the sword, right? We already seen it. And with hunger, manufactured famine, and with death and with the beasts of the earth. All right. You look up the word beast, it could just mean an animal. So he's poisoning everything. Okay. So we need Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua like never before. Therion, all right, could also mean just an animal. Beast, animals, he's going to what? Use them as a means. Because what do people do every day? That is a necessity to survive. They have to eat and drink. So why not poison the water? Why not poison the food? Why not uptick it? Let's start to put this poisoned meat and food all over the place. That's a means of spreading what? Pestilence. Okay? You got these ticks, right, that are popping up all over the world. Okay?
We have Bill Gates on record funding weaponized GMO tick research with Lyme disease around the country. And then wherever these research centers are, people then find these boxes full of baby ticks just pouring out all over the place. And suddenly the Lone Star tick is spreading all over the country in places it never was just a few years ago. And it's got weaponized Lyme disease in it that is even stronger and then gives you alpha-gal syndrome where you can't ever eat red meat again, and it can even kill you. And then magically, don't worry, Bill Gates' lab-grown meat won't do that to you. So you see his business model. And he's been caught before releasing GMO mosquitoes in Brazil and in Florida, all over Latin America and the U.S. It's just incredible. Then we have all these papers from the UN and the WWF saying, just 10 years ago, 5 years ago, last year, oh, we need to release ticks on people that bite you with alpha-gal, like the Lone Star tick. He says, oh, like the Lone Star tick, and then you won't be able to eat beef anymore, and that'll save the earth because cow farts are bad. So they would tell you 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and again, last year, what they're going to do. Yeah, here's one of the little guys at the WWF right there. By the way, the WWF just had another meeting and last week, and John Kerry said we need to censor everybody in Europe and America for the New World Order because if people have a chance to listen to other ideas, well, we can't control their minds. Very nice people. Oh, how ticks became bioweapons. How the CIA took syphilis and put it into ticks at Plum Island off New York City. How it then accidentally escaped and created modern Lyme disease. That's confirmed that they created Lyme disease. Now they've just souped it up again. Oh, AP, no, a meat allergy caused by ticks is not tied to Gates Foundation on the program. Here's gal syndrome again.
So now do you see why we need to be delivered? This is why I've started to mix divine intervention videos in there to show you that this is the environment that we are living in, right? That the Lord, see, we're going to need that kind of power, right? That we read about of old, man. We're going to need to be delivered from this madness. This is the environment, okay? Because again, these very people who are at the forefront of this, all right, are going to be the ones implementing the laws, okay?
Oh, AP, no, a meat allergy caused by ticks is not tied to Gates Foundation on the program. Here's why, just like AP told you back at the time, oh, no, Bill Gates is involved, and Chapel Hill's not involved, and Dr. Barrick's not involved, and Peter Daszak's not involved at Wuhan, and it turned out they ran the whole operation and moved it from North Carolina when it got exposed. So it's the same story over and over.
All right, and we'll get back to that. Let's go back here.
People are like, wow, this is a bit scary. It's completely new territory.
I mean, will we still need humans?
Not for most things. We'll decide.
Yeah. Overall, I think there's quite a bit of abdication of responsibility around like, what are we going to do as people's jobs start being taken fairly aggressively? Luckily, there's a massive population drop coming, so
maybe a massive population drop. See?
Maybe everything is just fate and it's going to work out okay. But I feel like we might get like very, very, very good AI across every pillar of art before there aren't any more people to make art.
It's Elon Musk baby mama.
So you wrote, we appreciate
torture this atomic analogy. You got the sense that people like Oppenheimer or Einstein were aware of the gravity of what was happening, and through the crucible of war, maybe made some decisions they might not have made otherwise. In this environment, I don't think Altman, Karp, Thiel was asked, should should the human race, flourish and continue to exist? And he took like a 5-second pause, like, yeah, let me think about that for a second.
a tough one there. Yeah.
You've heard about it in countless movies and shows.
I'm going to the bunker.
A top secret bunker outfitted to protect the president from major security threats. Now in real life, as the controversy continues around President Trump's demolition of the East Wing of the White House to make way for a new grand ballroom, there's fresh talk about what's happening underground. That bunker was bulldozed along with the rest of the East Wing. NBC News can report that it will be rebuilt and upgraded, according to one former White House official and 2 sources familiar with the East Wing renovations. A White House spokesman declined to comment in response to questions about a new presidential bunker.
And we know that in the book of Revelation, the 6th chapter, right? When it goes down, right? Because that's a bunker being built in America, all right? Most likely for, when some crazy situation happens, martial law. But when the nukes hit, right, these elites are going to be outside of America, right? When that nuclear destruction hits, here in Revelation 6 and 15, and the kings of the earth and the great men and the rich men and the chief captains and the mighty men and every bondman hid, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said unto the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? And no one's going to be able to stand. See, and this is what they're preparing for. They're not only are they preparing to wage war, all right, on the people of the earth, all right, mainly you Israelites, okay, they're going to wage war on all manner of people, even their own kind, all right, but they're preparing. This beast system is centered around waging war on the return of Yahweh Shai. See, and Trump doesn't give a damn about you Americans. He's duped you all to the point where you all shouldn't have anything to say to us, right? He's totally flipped on you all. And while you're in dire straits, perplexed, okay, through, all right, look what he's saying. Trump says he doesn't think about Americans' financial situation, but one thing, okay, we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. And they've been saying that for close to 40 years, and they've yet to use one. So it's the same rhetoric, all right, pretty much following the blueprint of the small hats, all right, and the rest is history, man. They're only going to make your lives more miserable. As a matter of fact, let's play this real quick, all right, and they want you people to react. They want you people to snap. Because when they lock this place down, all right, this is why they got data centers set up everywhere. They got these different, vacant buildings everywhere to just, because they plan on carting people off, all right, and pretty much they have everything set up to where people can only, go to particular spaces. So they have everything mapped out. This is why we're going to need divine intervention, and it will come. Although we may find ourselves in some form of persecution. Some of us may even be carted off to a camp. But the Lord is going to be with us. All we have to do is remain faithful, even unto death. See? There's no way around it to you Israelites out there. There's no way around what is written in the Holy Scriptures. Jacob's trouble.
I don't think about Americans' financial situation.
Mr. President, to what extent are Americans' financial situation motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. That's all.
So he doesn't give a damn about you Americans. This is the cruel Lord spoken of in the book of Isaiah, the 19th chapter, and nothing but pure hell. Right, let's get Isaiah 19. Nothing but pure hell that's been put on you Americans since this man has been in office, man, and particularly you Edomites, because Jake been catching hell. You know, like this video here, right? You know, Esau thought that poverty was a black problem. As you can see here, so-called black, right?
Ma'am, stop. We're called today. We got kids. EBT's gone. What are we supposed to do? Starve? Don't be surprised when we start taking it. People gotta eat. Why is gas $5 a gallon? And like, why do I have to pay rent? Why is rent so high? Why do I have to drive my car to get the gas that I have to get to go to the job that I have to pay for rent? Why do I have to do all of that stuff? And why are you making it so fucking expensive to do it? I want to get out and pump my gas. It feels like getting out and you know it's looking a fucking...
See, this is a good video. All right, said to me, Edomites are confessing that they thought poverty was a black problem, a Jake problem. But now under the cruel Lord, right, everything is spiraling downhill, even for you Edomites. Okay, and with all of the hell now comes another demic. And you're getting ready to have to put the mask back on. You're getting ready to be told you can't go certain places. You're getting ready to be told this is medicine and that ain't medicine. You're getting ready to have your pages shut down for speaking out against particular things. They're getting ready to go full-blown draconian measures, man. And these are the things we have been warning you about. Okay? Isaiah 19, right? And 3. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards, these podcasters, AI, these different, leaders who they looked up to, right? And then the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord. A fierce king shall rule over them, said the Lord of hosts, a tyrant. See that? And he's getting ready, and he's already giving you over to the hands of the elites and their plan. Now it's getting ready to get deeper. And while you're in complete straits, he's telling you, nigga, I don't give a damn about your financial situation. We got to get this nuclear weapon, which, I mean, they said it about Iraq. They've been talking the same rhetoric. And you don't know who the devil is? You don't know who the man of sin is? He's giving you over to a tyrant. Okay? I believe it says that in the GNT. Isaiah 19 in the GNT, right? I will hand the Egyptians over to a tyrant, a cruel king who will rule them, right? I, Yahweh, the mighty power, have spoken. And as you keep reading down, this all leads to a complete mess, right? The leaders of the city of Zoan, which Zoan, all right, was the ancient, equivalent to Washington, D.C. I've done videos going into it. Okay, the leaders of the city of Zoan, this is verse 11 in Isaiah 19 GNT, are fools. Egypt's wisest people give stupid advice. Hedseth, Musk, Teal, all of them. How do they dare tell the king that they are successors to ancient scholars and kings? High IQ, they're this, they're that. King of Egypt, where are your clever those clever advisors of yours? Look who they put in front of you, all right, to lead this collapse. Perhaps they can tell you what plans, all right, the Lord Almighty has for Egypt. The leaders of Zoan and Memphis are fools. They were supposed to lead the nation, but they have misled it. The Lord has made them give confusing advice. We won the war's over, it's a ceasefire, we made a deal, no, we bombing them, nigga, we got to get them, meanwhile, the gas price is going up, the grocery price is going up. Now, a demic is being put before your very eyes. See? And you're in straits.
No doubt. Poor white Americans face poverty, unemployment, crappy health care, and a failing education system. It's tough, it's brutal, and it's wrong. But guess what? You're not also dealing with systemic racism on top of all of that. White privilege doesn't mean you're living in luxury.
You don't have any privilege anymore. You're through. It's over for you Edomites. And see, they want you people to snap. As a matter of fact, I'm going to play a clip from this News and Prophecy done by the priest Ayashamath. All right, morning News and Prophecy. It's all about control. That's ultimately what they want, control. All right, over your mind, your body. They want to act as the Most High, man. And they're going to use fear, terror, and all manner of confusion to do it. Now, there's this video he put in this this morning News and Prophecy. All right, here it is, right here. All right, you had this nigga, boy, that's a hard-looking woman, boy, whatever. Catherine Austin Fitz, but she goes in, you know, they bring out good information, but in the grand scheme of things, they don't have prophecy. But she said they said something in this roundtable, right? This is the dark state in action. All right, people pretty much, they've been letting you know that, you know, pretty much everything we've been saying is true. All right, that, you know, digital IDs, MOTB, you know, programmable money, 15-minute cities, everything prophecy says. Okay, the third witness has stood up through the Holy Spirit, right? Because again, the Lord said he was going to pour out his spirit upon all flesh, and all things work for the good of the elect. So everything that we've been saying, you now have people who were insiders and a part of particular councils who pretty much ditched the system and went to alternative media platforms and are now sounding the alarm on what these elites are doing. The scriptures told you their own tongue shall fall upon themselves. That's another point in the book of Psalms, the 64th chapter. That's one of the ways that they're going to fall. Psalm 64:5, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune in laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. Their minds are deep in wickedness. See, a lot of you think that this is just a little serpent. You pet him. You know, you just stay. No, this dude is absolutely a madman. He wants total control. He seized the great awakening of the biblical Israelites. He hears the talking point of the throne of David. Okay, he's getting ready to go all balls out, balls to the wall with his plan, and it's a very demonic plan. And they're doing rituals. They're calling on their gods. They're doing sacrifices openly and behind closed doors. But God shall shoot at them with an arrow, and they shall be wounded. So shall they make their own tongues to fall upon themselves, and all that see them shall flee away. Everybody is now, all right, looking at these people for who they are. See that? He will turn their own tongues against them. So they will be caused to stumble. Their own tongue is against them. All who gaze at them will shake their head. People are looking at these people like, wait a minute. All right. Let's not forget the Epstein files, which that's just a very small piece of what really goes on. But there's so much wickedness coming out. They had to throw that out there like, yeah, this is what we're doing. And you American people didn't do nothing. Those of you who stand up for this system and want a future for this place, you didn't do nothing. Right? And there was a video here, which I'm not going to play too much of it, but before we get this
reached,
right? Look at the title. Right? The disturbing next demic is in the files. Right? It's in there.
How do we get rid of poor people as a whole? I have an answer. That message landed in Jeffrey Epstein's inbox on February 4th, 2011.
So these are things they've been planning. We ain't got to go too far into it. Never trust the elites or the government. Okay, never trust your enemy. And you Israelites had leaders telling you that these are the people to follow. Do what they say to do. See? But I want to, because pretty much they want you people to snap. That's a part of them allowing some of this information to come out. They want you people to lose it. So amongst, all right, what is it called? The poly crisis, that can be another crisis, uproars and people losing their damn minds. This will give them the necessary means to go ahead and come with an unrighteous decree. Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that right grievousness which they have prescribed, man. Okay? What sorrow awaits unjust judges, those who issue unfair laws. That's what's getting ready to come of this, man. And it's going to be ugly. It's going to be frustrating. See, but we have the comfort of the Holy Scriptures to know that these things must be.
They're not factoring in prophecy.
Coins, by launching Liberty Financial, by selling off presidential pardons to CZ, Justin Sun, started engaging in probably $6 billion of fraud, alleged, very questionable activities, tripled his net worth just through his crypto investments. And didn't do anything for Bitcoin. But what was the first thing we got? We got Genius Act. Genius Act effectively was stablecoin.
And what Trump had done, all right, this nigga hit the ground. All right, he got inaugurated January, all right, 20. You see, in January 21st, he handed you Americans over to the technocrats.
Yep.
Okay. All your tax money is going to the agenda of technocracy. Okay. And in the meantime, he's enriching himself by investing, all right, in these certain industries. Okay, that play a part in his control grid. Him and his family have been enriching themselves, manipulating the market with the oil, manipulation, all this. So this, all Trump has done has come in and enriched himself. Okay, and threw you Americans like an alley. Okay, he threw you niggas off the backboard to the elites. You see, Trump threw you niggas off the backboard to the elites, man.
Through.
Okay, and they're allowing this nigga to enrich himself. Okay, in the process, man. Okay, because it was a Rothschild banking family that got Trump out of debt. Okay, because Trump, present like he's this great businessman. Even that's a fraud. That nigga trash as a businessman. Okay, they went bankrupt several times. Then it took the Rothschilds to get him out that last bankruptcy, man. So he's fully brought and paid for, man.
Yep.
You see, so let's play this a little more.
They got blackmail on
legislation that tilted the favor for a covert central bank digital currency to JP Morgan. Because in order to launch a stablecoin and pay yield, you had to get a banking license. Now, there were then lots of controversy around could stablecoins pay yield? And then you had Clarity Act in order to give clarity. Are you regulated by the OCC, the Currency Commission? Are you regulated by the SEC as a security? Or are you regulated by CFTC as a commodity? And right now we got a mock-up, which was from the banking lobby, which effectively made it where the only way to pay straight up yield is to have a banking license. But the crypto lobby, through the Trump administration, got it where you could connect stablecoin yield to a rewards program or a loyalty program. But at the same time, he started issuing banking licenses for the various crypto stablecoin issuers. So really, these are the covert favor.
Yeah, so Trump is giving all these cryptocurrencies, which all of it is going to lead to the CBDC.
Yep.
They let you people invest into this crypto. They even let you make a little money, just to reel you in. All these different cryptocurrencies, all right, are going all of them on the same path, all right, to this one CBDC, central bank digital currency.
And didn't he say he wasn't going to do that anyway?
Okay, and Trump has been giving these bankers the license to bank. Okay? Because it's switching over to a new style of banking, which is going to be CBDC. Okay, so you hear all these stable coins, freedom coins, meme coins, this coin, all of it, all central bank digital currency, man. And they're letting you people play around with it, make a little profit, getting you familiar with it. Okay, getting you familiar with this new style of banking, which is going to be crypto, because crypto just means hidden. Okay, so it's money that you'll never see. It just be numbers on the screen, and they've been doing that a lot lately, conditioning people, all right, to not actually handle, okay, the money, okay, but just deal with numbers on the screen in your banking app, You know, you're most of the time you're just looking at numbers on the screen. You're never handling the physical money, all right, that you're supposed to have like that. Okay, most of the time we're managing numbers on the screen, you know, and it's all a conditioning for this new CBDC, okay, banking system of the control system with the CBDC, which Catherine,
which is going to lead to the MOTB. Now, the point I want is a little further on down, but we're just going to listen because there's some good information. It all ties into everything that we're talking about. Basically, it's all about control. Everything they're doing is leading to them having control, whether it be over your body, being merged, with their system in order to move forward and how you could heal yourself. What is deemed healing? Okay, where you can go based upon your social credit score, what you can buy, what you can sell. This is the type of control that they want and that they're aiming for with all of these happenings.
Austin Fitch is going to get into, okay, going to their programmable money gives them another layer of control that they don't have. You see, things are still loose. They want to tighten the screws on all this looseness in the system, man. To where people are able to still wiggle around with cash and, work off grid, still, get money and not, because you do money transactions, you go build, you go cut, your neighbor yard, for $100. Well, they can't track it. Okay. They want complete control. You see? So they play a little more.
Terms to get a banking license. And obviously the end goal of all of this is the precursor want, which is the tokenization and the programmability of that. And we started to see lots of freeze functions in DeFi contracts, freeze functions in stablecoins. But the Bitcoin in self-custody has not been able to be frozen. And so we started to see new infiltration attempts into new implementations of Bitcoin. And you can start to see some of the core developers. There's been a lot of controversy where people have been chucked out, fired, as of the Bitcoin core developers might be alternative agendas. And we've had competing implementations. So all of that to say is that stable coins combined with social credit scores, which is Elon Musk's part of the play in X. And the reason that things are starting to become more obvious right now is because they want us talking. They're deliberately trying to manufacture civil unrest. They're drawing us into our most radical version of ourselves through.
Right. They're trying to manufacture civil unrest. They want people talking. They're allowing these videos to go up. They're allowing people to expose things. All right. And meanwhile, in Palantir and all of these various different tracking, all right, AI programs are basically putting everybody in a box. All right. And they're going to make a move.
Content and control of algorithms. And then they want the unrest to implement the police and surveillance state, which has been a long-term project through Patriot Act, through Genius Act, and now Clarity Act, in order to essentially replace the Constitution with this programmable 1984 Orwellian state. And
yep, the Clarity Act. Let's look that up. Okay. A major proposed U.S. legislation aiming to establish comprehensive regulatory framework for cryptocurrencies. Because digital IDs and programmable digital money is coming. No, there's nothing you could do about it. Again, on the back of your dollar bill tells you their blueprint. All right, the Lord. All right, Nuvos, Anuit conceptors announcing the conception, or the gods have granted us permission to establish a Nuvos Order Seclorum, a new secular age. Paper money, all right, is the end of this world, man. And they're bringing you into the new. Okay? And everything is about control, draconian measures. He had two horns like a lamb, but he spake as a dragon.
Palantir is the other part. AI, social credits, stable coins, you got the complete control grid.
Yep, and that's what I wanted. That's the part I wanted. All right, but we got some other good information from that, so you could check out that brother's video. But King Charles announces British government is rolling out Gil Bates digital ID. King Charles has announced the British government is moving ahead to roll out Gil Bates digital ID and introducing digital ID cards in line with Agenda 2030. Okay, let's listen to him.
Ministers will also proceed with the introduction of digital ID that will modernize how citizens interact with public services.
All right. You heard him?
Ministers will also proceed with the introduction of digital ID that will modernize how citizens interact with public services.
This will change how you interact with public services. This is going to change everything. This is going to change the game and give them all manner of control. Okay? And these are things nobody voted for. These are the things that the Trump administration was supposed to be against. See that? Now they're crying for it. Now you have the right wing telling you we need to ban free speech. So it's all a scam, man. It's all a sham. Okay? The EU, the beast, right, declares non-compliant citizens who reject Gil-based digital ID will be banned from the internet. So you're going to need this to get on the internet. Again, this is getting ready to bring them the control they need, but they need more chaos. They need people to uproar. Okay? This is a very crafty serpent here, man. Okay? The EU is turning the internet into a permission-based system where ordinary citizens must surrender their digital identity to participate in modern society. You have an uptick in mass shooters. You have an uptick in people doing, damnable things on the internet, being radicalized off of the internet. So now we need to know who's getting on the internet. And again, like Trump said, we're going to have to give up our freedoms to establish safety. Okay? And we showed you the article earlier with this guy, right? We showed you the article earlier where he is talking about doing. Okay, your identity, your bank account, and your body must become one. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? What do you think it means? Let's get a summary. Summarize this article. See here. Okay. He's advocating a global enslavement blueprint. All right. It frames his recent praise of India's digital public infrastructure because all of these different nations are moving towards it. Jamaica is moving towards casting all of these nations, right? As a call for a technocratic system of total control. Okay? Fusion of systems. Gates wants to merge biometric digital IDs, bank accounts, payment systems, and health records into a single unbreakable ledger. Okay? It highlights Gates' praise for India's efficiency in distributing government benefits via digital IDs and bank accounts, suggesting he wants to implement that globally. Expanded surveillance. The author claims this infrastructure is being expanded into agricultural, tracking farmers, all right, and health monitoring both infectious and non-communicable diseases. Okay? And I mean, we showed you out of his own mouth that he's talking about doing this. Okay? So where in the Bible can we find something that's in line with what we're witnessing here? Hmm? This is the modern day Tower of Babel, and Trump is moving forward with that Golden Dome, I believe, too. Okay, which is being, ployed as a defense plan, right? But it's nothing more than the digital Tower of Babel, all right, and everything that we've been telling you, man. Trump's Golden Dome missile defense plan could cost 1.2 trillion. All right, but they ain't got no money to help your ass. Okay. Remember, he was talking about bringing it.
The Strait of Hormuz is still closed after more than 70 days. The war with Iran has no exit strategy. Gas is above $4 a gallon. Consumer confidence is at a 74-year low. And Trump is posting on social media that the war is already won. When the fake news says that the Iranian enemy is doing well, militarily, against us, it's virtual treason in that it is such a false and even preposterous statement. They are aiding and abetting the enemy. All it does is give Iran false hope when none should exist. These are American cowards that are rooting against our country. Iran had 159 ships in their navy. Every single ship is now resting at the bottom of the sea. They have
the same way they're doing all this evil and just accusing them, they're going to do that to your U.S. citizens and us.
Have no navy. Their air force is gone. All technology is gone. Their leaders are no longer with us, and the country is an economic disaster. Only losers, ingrates, and fools are able to make a case against America. President Donald J. Trump. That was posted while the strait remains shut. 230 tankers sit idle in the Persian Gulf. Jet fuel shortages are grounding flights, and his own energy secretary has said gas prices may not return to normal until next year. But behind the victory posts, a report landed this week that may matter more than any of them, because it puts a real number on one of the most expensive promises Trump has ever made, and the number is devastating. The Congressional Budget Office has concluded that Golden Dome, Trump's proposed missile defense shield, will cost more than 6 times the $175 billion he claimed it would. In other words, the Golden Dome project is collapsing before it has even begun. In this video, we break down the CBO report and the real numbers behind Golden Dome. Then we look at Canada's response and why its refusal to pay Trump's price may turn out to be the most rational defense decision any U.S. ally has made this decade. Let's start with the numbers, because they are extraordinary. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office released its assessment this week. Golden Dome will cost up to
See that Golden Dome. All right, this is in line with Starlink. All right, but and it's crazy. All of these things they're doing were in movies, right? Wasn't Starlink in Terminator? All right. Yeah. Oh, Skynet. 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 See, Skynet is a fictional artificial neural network, all right, based on group mind and artificial general superintelligence system. All right, but then you got Starlink with Elon Musk. See that? Satellite internet. So, at the end of the day, he wants to rule space. Can anyone stop him? Man, these people are absolutely crazy, man. But you see all of these things for yourself, man. At the end of the day, we are heading toward a dystopian future where humans' day-to-day lives will be completely controlled, watched, monitored, all right, and all manner by AI, man. And this demic, right? This demic that we've been talking about is getting ready they're getting ready to release something. Things are getting ready to get crazy.
We begin the day with countries around the world monitoring and quarantining passengers evacuated from a cruise ship hit by a deadly hantavirus outbreak. Number of hantavirus cases has increased to...
Right, you can look that up. At the end of the day, we're getting ready to see a lot of people pass. Okay, Psalms 91:5. Don't be afraid of the terrors of the night, nor the arrows that flies in the day. It's going to be war, right? Nor the dread the disease that stalks in darkness, because we're in darkness right now. We're in the midst of a dark kingdom. See, do not dread the disease that stalks in darkness, nor the disaster that strikes at midday. Though 1,000 fall at your side, though 10,000s are dying around you, these evils will not touch you. Okay? See that? These evils will not touch you. Wow. All right. And see, the plagues ain't going to stop. Okay. 2nd Esdras 16 and 14. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they are come upon the earth. 2nd Esdras 15 and 5. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, famine, the sword, death, and destruction. Verse 49. I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, the sword, pestilence, to waste thy houses with death and destruction. So these plagues are a guarantee pursuing the biblical prophecy. But the main plague, right, is this disease called Esau Edom. This is royalty. Look at these idols around these people, man. This is sick, man. Yeah. But we got to get the F out of here, man. So, all right, White House announces plan to identify and neutralize groups of Americans they deem terrorists. Okay? This is where we are, man. Because as it's becoming more and more clear that this man is the devil and he gets more and more revealed, he's going to have to get more and more draconian. Okay? He's going to have to come down with great wrath. All right? Because basically he has but a short time. All right? His end is associated with him being revealed. Okay? It says, our national CT activities will also prioritize the rapid identification and neutralization of violent secular political groups whose ideology is anti-American, radically pro-transgender, and anarchist. And they have a history, all right? The right wing has a history of linking you jakes with the left. Okay? They did it systematically with BLM, that rhetoric, that garbage. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, that's pretty much it. All right. Just wanted to tap into a few things, tapping into prophecy. J.D. Vance holds chilling closed-door summit with America's most powerful men as horrifying global threat menacing hospitals spiral. Okay. So these devils got something up their sleeve. This is why in Psalms 140, one of my favorite scriptures, right? One of my favorite chapters, you should read it. Okay. Verse 1, deliver me, O Lord, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man, which imagine mischiefs in their heart. Continually are they gathered together for war. They have sharpened their swords like a serpent's. Serpent's adder is under their lips. Keep me, O Lord, from the hands of the wicked. Preserve me from the violent man who have proposed to overthrow my goings. The proud have hid a snare for me, and cords they have spread, all right, a net by the wayside. They have set gins for me, Selah. And these are all gins, these unrighteous legislation and decrees and everything we're witnessing these devils do and plan. It's all a snare, all right, to ultimately come after upright speech, all right, and govern the world and basically become gods on earth. And now look, tools of tyranny. The beast system is here. The dystopian nightmare is upon us, but America's not Babylon, right? That's what this guy says. He believes in the small hats. You people are a joke, but at the same time, the Lord has put a spirit on you to bring out articles of information we capitalize off of, man. Okay. robot wolves in Japan to scare off bears. Yo, grocery prices surge, and we'll get into that perplexity. All right, and maybe the next news and prophecy, man. But oh my goodness. Oh boy, let me read that title. Yeah, but you know, this man ain't the devil, right? We ain't at the end. All right.
We're not just a story. We're not just headlines. We're people. People with families, with lives, with people waiting for us at home.
I haven't seen a fake cry this good since Erica Kirk. So you remember this? You remember the WHO declares monkeypox spread of a global health emergency? Remember that?
Yes.
Remember why the latest bird flu case has experts worried about a potential You remember that? And remember, COVID had an infection fatality rate, meaning it was only killed 0.04% of the people. They were telling you it was killing everybody. Is hantavirus the next COVID? Is the U.S. response on point? An outbreak update. Here's another one from Esquire. I really hope this deadly virus doesn't reach America or we're doomed. Surely we can't rely on Secretary Roadkill to protect it. So they're doing it again. They're doing it again. And guess what? Here's Pierre Corey, who treats me and my vaccine injury, a leader in his field for his whole life.
And then he told the
truth about COVID, and they discredited him. Dr. Pierre Corey exposes the massive media anomaly. Watch this.
What actually kind of intrigued me more, and tell you about what you said, is a colleague told me that there was like 100,000 articles written around the world on hantavirus in the last couple of days. And that's not typical for a hantavirus outbreak. Certainly there's always attention and people get scared. But like, that's the other thing with COVID. It was COVID 24/7. And then when you said in your intro about how it seems to be driven by influencers, I'm sorry if I'm getting too like, I don't know. I actually never want to use the word tin hat because I'm not a tin hat, but these patterns are anomalous. Why with just this little outbreak of a few cases, suddenly like it's consuming the world's media cycle? Like for instance, I'm on talking about it today. It's because it's being driven by something.
When he says there was 100,000 articles worldwide, come on, that's an exaggeration. So I asked Grok. Grok said, yeah, tens of thousands of articles.
So they're getting ready to do it again, and never forget, never forget what y'all do another video on this. All right, all of the lies and evils that were told during this last time in 2020. Anyway, this is not medical information. All right, this is just news and prophecy. Hopefully, I'll edify it on to the next. Shalom.